Scary times. One time when me and my friend were sitting in the kitchen, the cloths on the wall started moving, and we were the only ones there. My mom went to the store, and she took my little sister with her, and my older sister was with her friend. We got really scared, so we ran outside. And then when we looked in my mom's window, we saw this face thing in her window. We screamed so loud. There was another time when my mom was home, and both of my sisters were there too. We had a Halloween box on top of a shelf, and it was pushed all the way back to the wall. All of a sudden, it just fell. We have no clue what made it fall, but it was very spooky. Another time when I was in my bathroom brushing my hair, through the vent I heard someone say something while everyone else was downstairs. It sort of sounded like the voice said, "Get out," or something that had to do with that. I ran downstairs crying, and my mom just laughed at me. My aunt was the only one that believed me. Possessed by a ghost. Story. My granduncle was an honest cop who had rubbed shoulders with rich industrialists. He was murdered while on duty by thugs who smashed his skull with iron rods. This happened way back in the 70s. I was born in 1980. My parents never had a clue that the ghost of the cop inhabited my body since birth. As far as I am concerned, I too never had the inkling that some entity was with me. In the year 2000, while training as an aircraft maintenance engineer, I found myself at a vantage point to see something illegal and dangerous. I intervened, and this resulted in one of the participants trying to attack me. It was at that point I felt someone emerge from within me and zap the assailant. When this happened, I was at some distance from the person who was trying to harm me. I was not able to resolve the incident until several years later. I saw the ghost of my granduncle clearly one night when a shadow entity came to my location to settle a score with me. This entity was of one of the people associated with the conspiracy I nullified. Shortly before the shadow appeared, I saw the cop walking towards me from behind. He was glowing, still in his uniform, and face blanked out. This ghost, I believe, has the capability to produce so high EMF that he can kill any assailant. I want to know how I can communicate with this ghost. I need him to manifest at large distances from me to deter my enemies from planning an attack on me, for I have enemies since the year 2000. Cry Baby Bridge. Ghost Story. I was in the car with my friend and her mother, and we were just taking a ride for the heck of it. It was March in the year 2005, and I remember that it wasn't specifically cold that day, but it was a little misty and dark. We were getting bored, just riding around the neighborhood, so my friend's mother suggested we try to test a legend about a bridge in Woodbridge, New Jersey. The legend goes, many years ago, sometime in the 19th century, there was a farmer who lived with his pregnant wife. They lived in a nice house next to a creek with a bridge over top. They had a happy life with little disagreements. The couple seemed to be doing well in the world, and the baby finally arrived. They were excited for the new arrival, but after just a few nights of listening to his wife tend to the baby, the farmer grew insanely jealous that he wasn't getting her love. One night, when the baby was crying very loudly, he went into the room and grabbed the child from her crib. He made his way down to the creek and threw the baby in, then went in and grabbed his wife and killed her as well. The legend says that if you drive down to that house on a foggy day and stop on the bridge, you will hear the baby crying. Then the baby and mother will try to push your car off the bridge. We arrived at the destination in about an hour. We were growing a little bit anxious when we approached the house and bridge, but continued on for curiosity's sake. My friend's mother is not a skittish person and is actually a very good driver, so we were sure she wouldn't play a trick on us. She stopped the car in the middle of the small bridge and we waited. After about 1 minute, we heard a faint sound coming from down the creek. It did indeed sound like a baby's cry. We sat there with our jaws hanging, listening to the sound. Just as we were about to step on the gas pedal, we felt a huge jolting on the left side of the car, followed by another attempt. We immediately raced off onto the dirt road ahead and heard our own hearts pounding. I will never forget that experience, and I will never go back to that bridge. Spooky Cottage. My husband and I, as well as my family, were renting a cottage as a stopgap before buying our new house. It was situated in the old part of our village in Dublin, Ireland. The cottage was part of an old farm. The home itself was warm, except for our room. My husband and I picked this room as there was an en-suite bathroom, the house being renovated in recent years. One night, as we were falling asleep, I thought my husband called out to me. I answered, "Yes," but he replied, "I didn't say anything. I just thought my ears were playing tricks, so I thought nothing further of it." A few minutes later, we heard a big crash in the en-suite. We both got such a fright that we fought as to who would check it out. I finally agreed, and so turned the light on in the en-suite. To my amazement, all the shampoo, conditioner, and shower gel bottles that were lined up on the side of the shower were now somehow in the shower tray, with a few of them being found in the sink, which was 3 foot higher than the shower tray. There is no reasonable explanation for how the bottles ended up that way, as there was no possible way they could have moved on their own. We chose to ignore it, but days later, as both of us were watching television in our room, we heard a noise outside of the window. We pulled back the curtain, but nothing was there but an impression of a face that looked like someone had just been breathing on the window. My husband ran outside to check to see if anyone was there, as this cottage is quite remote, but no one was outside. Many other things happened while we were there, such as things having been moved, doors locking without key, and names being called out without any one of us having called them. We all were scared at one point or another, so we had to move out before our lease was up. I have plenty of other stories from this cottage, but I would be writing all day,